The United Stand. It's Sunday Night Live. I'm joined by Flex. How you doing, pal?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Good, good. I want to get straight into it. There's a lot of things to talk about, but the first one I want to talk about is that there are sort of indications that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as much as many Manchester United fans would like him to be our next manager, that the club really are not on that sort of level. Only emphasised by even Wayne Rooney this week coming out saying it should still be Pochettino getting the job. I want to get obviously a few live comments on this, but also want to get the feeling of people in the from you as well, Flex. I mean, where do you stand at the moment in relation to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Manchester United manager? Long term.
Do you know what it is? At the moment, you can't. Why would we not be looking at him for the manager in terms of what he's done since he's been in here for them 7 games? He's played 7 games and won 7. There's not any other. That's the maximum. That's the maximum output. Now, I keep saying in the videos, and when I speak to fans who ask me the same question, there's a long way to go still. Look, I'm not trying to throw water over the fire, but if we were to go and lose the next 6 games, then it would be awful. So, we do need to see where we finish. We do need to see when bigger tests come. The Tottenham game was the hardest out of the 7 games, and we just about came through that, which was fantastic. But I don't understand, this whole thing of he definitely can't get the job or we definitely have to get him. I think the jury's still out. But look, we definitely can't look past him. If you sack managers off of results, then a manager should be able to keep his job through results as well. So, for me, Man United got a big decision to make if Ole continues. I don't know whether they kind of see it as, I don't think we'd be in this position. I thought he'd steady the ship, but I didn't think it'd be this good. Do you know what I mean? I think there could be an element of that as well, because maybe there is some of it that maybe I certainly didn't think it'd be this good. I don't think a lot of people did. But the fact that it is, Man United would then be in a predicament of, okay, we could seriously upset the apple cart if we get rid of Ole. That's how, if he's got us 4th and Martial's tied down to a long-term contract because things were looking rosy again and we got the best out of him. De Gea stayed because he liked what we were doing and so on and so forth. And the results were there and our attacking players are playing well. Then it's kind of like, well, surely all he needs is a bit of money to strengthen and he's playing the United way. What more can we ask for? And I've been asking fans, but for me, I think the jury's still out. I can't think we can make our minds up yet. It's still early and we've still got a lot of tests to come. If we come out of March and we're still in a similar position to what we are now, but maybe a little bit higher up, i.e. in 4th position, then the case is very strengthened because you look at that March and we've got some very, very tough games.
It's interesting because I probably would have agreed with you a week ago, but there's a comment here from Gary Reid saying Ole's proved himself, and I was thinking that before we went live and before obviously we're setting the show up that if you brought a manager in and they'd won 7 games in a row like Ole's done, he can't do any more, and a lot of people have been given jobs on that basis. I do agree with you though. I do agree that we don't have to make a decision till May. That's the nice thing. Having said that, it's abundantly clear that we are not buying players in this transfer window because the club have taken this sit on the pot of gold stance like they did last summer. Remember when we came out of Sky Sports on August the 31st and we did that video outside Marylebone saying, regardless of who Mourinho wanted, it's a joke that the club has only spent 50 million net last summer when we were meant to be closing a 20-point gap on City. Well, look how that's gone. And here we are in January, again refusing to spend money. Now, there are some fans who think, well, I agree with that because we don't know who the manager's going to be. But we do know, as of yesterday, we saw it again, we do know we need a dominant centre-back. And again, that seems to be the board's stance is, we're just going to sit and wait and see. Do you think that's a risk worth taking, or do you think they should be going out spending the money right now?
I think if the targets are there to be got, i.e. the player that we really want, which, I'm not saying it is Koulibaly, but I'm saying whether it is it's been agreed before, then yes, if the right player comes along. But they have still got a level of uncertainty, and that's the thing, because they're not really sure who the manager's going to be. There is always that risk of, you throwing good money after bad. You look at how what Arsenal done with Ozil. Now that was different in terms of they give him a big contract, but the new manager's come in and Emery's gone, sod that, don't fancy him. Now they're stuck with a player with 350 bags a week, and he's not being he's not being played. So I don't want to see us just splashing the cash on anyone, and then the stability's not quite there. Then Ollie leaves or stays and doesn't want those players. I don't know.
If I put it another way, then, if I said to you, well, all right, 90 million will get you Koulibaly now, because I think it will, or Skriniar. Yeah. 90 million now will get you Koulibaly or Skriniar. And that's now with Ollie. Yeah. And Ollie might go in May, but I think Pochettino or Zidane would like that. Yeah, or would you wait and then might miss out on top four?
And that's what I mean by the right player being available and we can go and get him.
The thing is, we that's something I wanted to talk about in a minute about what Mourinho said, because I agree with Mourinho. Whatever we say, there are still issues with this board, and we still have a board that won't spend 90 million on Koulibaly, even if that's the price, because they'll be thinking we want to pay 70.
Yeah, that is, our board is always going to cut corners with the sales of with the purchases of players. But I think with the stick that we do give the board and Ed Woodward, they've made some very good decisions. That sometimes we don't actually give them credit for. I know everyone says get the Glazers out and all that, and that's a separate thing because they're taking a lot of money out and not putting a lot in, etc. But in terms of, that's a business thing. Like I get why they wouldn't sell the club. If you're a good businessman, why would you sell Man United? It's a gold mine. I get that. But in terms of some of the decisions they have made, like getting rid of Jose, like when it would have cost loads of money, they've had to put the money in the pocket for that, and they've done it. Making sure Martial didn't leave, making sure Pogba didn't leave, and making a proper decision for this club, getting Ollie and Phelan in. They've actually made some good decisions there, which sometimes, we wouldn't be in this position if they didn't make that choice. If we did what we thought they would do, which I said loads of times, which is they got no backbone, they got no balls, and they're just going to let it peter out until we mathematically can't get top four. They didn't do that. So they do deserve a bit of credit. But like I said, holding back on some of the funds, they're always penny pinching. I get it. I would go and get Koulibaly, like I said, with the 90 million. I'll just pay it. We've got the money, so do it. But I just said before the January transfer window, I said, because we're in such an uncertain period, and it's hard to get the players you want. We're saying Koulibaly, like we know he's definitely going to come, and Napoli are going to say yes. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. Maybe they might sign a pre-agreement for summer, or whoever. You just don't know. But look, if he came available and wanted to come, obviously yes, go and get it. But I still think we've got enough there to get top four if we continue the way we're playing. We're proving it. Well, since in 7 games we've conceded 5 goals and scored nearly 20. So that just shows with the manager alone, the defence is still improved, and that's with Phil Jones still playing. If we can get Bailly back, getting some confidence, then we could be onto something.
And also, I want to bring in here because I think obviously I have my opinion. I think we should spend 90 million on Koulibaly, and I have said in the past, a year ago Liverpool went and got Van Dijk in January for 75 million. And I could keep pumping that, but I just want to say as well, I will be even-handed and say Van Dijk was being dropped by Southampton in the opening months of last season. In fact, he was refusing to play. So there's a little bit of a background to why Van Dijk did leave Southampton in January.
He wanted to force the move through.
Yeah, and Koulibaly isn't doing that at Napoli, so that could be a thing. But as Paul Robinson says, if we buy world class, it's good for all managers and simple. I just want to talk very quickly about Mourinho and then go on to the next topics. Look, I'm getting a bit irritated, like I'm sure a lot of people are, seeing Mourinho on your timeline constantly talking about United in a subliminal way. But one thing there are all, I think we're all glad Mourinho's gone. I think we're all irritated by him, but there will be bits in what he says where you go, actually, he's probably right there. And one thing I've heard today, I don't know when he said it, but he has said it, that Klopp and Pep were backed more than him. And what he was talking about is that Klopp, if you look at his Liverpool team now, there's only probably 1 or 2 players that were there at the start. And when you look at United, how many of the players were actually still Sir Alex Ferguson players? And I think what Mourinho's saying there is, a lot of people would have said, well, De Gea, Valencia, Young, Smalling, Jones, why are you picking all those players? And I think what he's saying is that he just didn't get the backing. And he also mentioned Pep, 4 fullbacks being signed. And he said, Gary Neville says my philosophy is the wrong philosophy for United.
So you don't understand my philosophy and all this nonsense.
How does he know what my philosophy is? And I think what he was basically getting at is that he'd not been given enough players. Which look, Mourinho should have been sacked. I'm not being sympathetic of Mourinho, but what I'm trying to bring in here
I know what you're saying.
The board is still a problem for United because
100%, 100%. But you got to remember, yeah, Jose didn't lose his job because just because like he didn't get the players that he wanted, so he couldn't play the football he wanted. He lost his job because of results, and he lost his job because he couldn't coach his way out of a situation where we already had good attacking players, as being proved by Ollie. Even with and the biggest difference, if you look at the Klopp situation and the Pep situation, the biggest indicator with the difference of situations with them and Mourinho is that you could clearly see what direction those teams were trying to go in. They just didn't have the right players. So it wasn't like Mourinho was playing expansive football, but scoring loads of goals, but kept conceding. It wasn't that, because that's what Man City did in the first season with Pep. They were scoring, they were creating, just that the back four was shit, and the fullbacks weren't doing what he wanted. So he goes, right, I've got this, I've got that, I've got my way of playing, but I need Kyle Walker to be able to bomb forward on that side. I need Mendy to go and do that. I need a ball playing centre half, and so I can play this. And that's the difference. You look at Klopp, same thing. He still had, I know obviously Salah wasn't there and those players slowly came in, but even the way that Klopp played football, even when he had the Sturridges and even Origi and players like that, they were still trying to play forward football, attacking football, creating chances. They just kept having the same point, which is, we just keep conceding too many goals. Because Klopp got to the Champions League final with that pathetic excuse of a back five, including the keeper. So no one can tell me that it was all about, spending money. That's what you top it off with the cherry on top. But the basis of going forward was there because these guys were winning games and outscoring teams more so. It was just that it was clear to see that all they needed to move forward and put the cherry on top of the cake was to fine tune in areas. Mourinho weren't doing that. He was sucking the life out of the attacking players that we had and making us look like, and making some people actually believe that our team is shit. And it's not. And that's the reason he lost his job. So all he's doing is, again, trying to mask the fact that, he couldn't coach his way out of the situation, which he can't because he's not a good coach anymore. Yes, we know as Man United fans there's problems with our boards. There's problems with the 3 appointments that they made. They were far away from Man United type managers. But all he's doing there is being smart. He's Mourinho. He's defending his own arse again, which is what he does. Yes, we got players we need to move on, which was the same under Van Gaal, which was the same under David Moyes. Do you know what I'm saying? So I get that, and we know that, and that is something where I will say he's got a slight point there.
I think I agree with everything you've said there, and I agree with. I mean, Steve Chow says that Jose interview massively triggered him. Even now, he won't hold his hands up and say he failed. And I think United fans, we need to not be bothered. I mean, I've heard some people saying, "Oh, I don't want to mention Mourinho now; it's old news." I think that's really naive because if you don't remind yourself of the failings of the past, you make the same mistakes again. But I think the prevalent thing that needs to come from what Mourinho is saying is something we're all aware of, is that this board sits on a pot of gold, it doesn't move the deadwood out, and it doesn't bring enough in. I already envisage a situation in the summer, and I've said this before, we need to get rid of 5 players and we need to bring 5 players in. I think every United fan accepts that. We're not going to do 10 deals in the summer. So we're going into next season, no matter who the manager is, we'll still have some deadwood and we still won't have enough players in. And that, again, for me is why I'm looking at this transfer window and going, yeah, all right, you can hide behind the fact that we're going to wait till the summer to see who our manager is. But you're wasting a transfer window. I think that this board is still a massive problem. And that's the point that I took from Mourinho. When he talked about next club I go into, I want a clear vision on what the structure is of the club, because effectively the Manchester United one wasn't what he expected, and I think Van Gaal also said the same. So the board is still a massive problem. I really do think
100%. I still stick by my comments of before Jose got sacked. I said there is so much wrong at this club, but it had to start with him. So we've got him out, and we can see the difference, and that proves that theory to be right. If the club take their time, get the director of football, change the scouting system, change the decisions being made, then hopefully we've got to give them the benefit of the doubt at this time that they've got the stopgap to give themselves some breathing space with Wally. Let's see if the conversations behind closed doors are positive, and see if they can make a change to how the club is run.
Do you think, having, obviously we're there yesterday, a lot of us saw it, we've seen the last few games, I think actually 2 good wins against Spurs and Brighton yesterday, but the amount of chances we gave up There was a lot of chances for Spurs and there was a lot of chances for Brighton, and we won the games and we deserved to win the games. That's not what I'm saying, but I still find it interesting the player ratings people are giving our back four, and yet we are giving up so many chances. Do you think we can get top four with that back four?
I do, and I'll tell you why. Because if we can make up those points in that time and keep playing the way we are, why not? The proof's there in terms of the 7 games we've played. And I think the fact that it's kind of, I hate talking about Liverpool, but they're just a perfect example of it. It is kind of like that, where again they had a shit defence, so they focused on their attack. They used that to their strength, and they used to just outscore teams. They win games 3-2, 4-3. You know what I mean? Sometimes even 5-3, 5-4, high scoring games. And you don't want that. Of course you don't. But you have to work with what you've got. And it just highlights what we already knew, though. Our defence is our weakest point. So, we are going to concede chances and we're going to concede goals. But like I said, man, what we are forgetting, the proof's in the pudding. In 7 games, we've only conceded 5 goals and scored nearly 20. So that rationale of focus on the attack, let our strengths do the talking. Let these teams worry about us. We've got Martial, Rashford, Jesse, Lexis, Pogba. Let them worry about them because they're going to outcreate the other team. That's what we're doing. And yes, don't get me wrong, you can't win titles based off that. We need to tighten up at the back, and we need reinforcements, and we need to spend. That needs to come in the summer. So we obviously can't win a title like that. But for now, we can almost have that kind of shootout in terms of saying, all right, well, I know it's only Brighton or I know it's only whoever, but we'll outscore you. I'm confident we will, because my players are going out there and playing to our strengths at the moment, which is our attack and our midfield. So let's let them go and create, and that's what we're seeing.
I do worry a little bit though that I was going to ask you about Lukaku, but I do. Let me just do these super chats and I'll come back. But Red Jedi says having Koulibaly already at the club now would be an added boost to bring in the manager we want. What manager wouldn't want him? Good point. Roy Umanata says 6 games and we're still 6th. That's how bad Mourinho damaged us. Let's stick with Ollie if you ask me, but I could be wrong. I think that's a great point. We've won 7. We've won 6 games in a row in the league and we're still 6th. It just shows you what a great job he's done.
Yeah, exactly.
And the gap that's there. Ollie Gunnar Stubbster says, hear me out here. Are we waiting until the summer transfer wise to identify exactly who the dead ward are in the club? And King Condry says, hi Mark and Flex, big fan of you and the channel. Do you think we could have Bailly in the centre back with Lindelof, Pogba, Herrera, Lingard in midfield, and a new right winger? I would be more happier. I don't know what your thoughts are, Flex. I would be happier with a Bailly or a Smalling next to Lindelof because we need somebody big in the air.
Yeah. 100%. I think Bailly needs to get some game time ASAP. Even the Arsenal game coming up, Man United fans, when it was cool to like Lukaku, when he was scoring a few goals early in his career, United fans jumped on me because I said Lacazette's better than him. Look now, but that's not saying I told you so, but it is. You look at that game coming up though, and the Phil Jones thing just worries me, man. I know. Look, against Spurs, I was worried because of the Harry Kane thing, and even Son coming in. I thought Phil Jones could get torn a new one, but Lindelof seems to be carrying him a lot of the time, and Jones hasn't had a massive calamity yet. But I just feel like one's pending.
They started so quick, Arsenal, 20 minutes yesterday as well. I was like, if they're over Phil Jones like that in the first 20 minutes, that game could be over because he is slow.
Exactly, and they played a 2 up front in that game, but I'm not saying they will against us. But if they've got a Lacazette and a Aubameyang causing trouble, they're quick, they're pacey. They're good on the ball. They can create. If they do that, and Jones is going to be in all sorts. So for me, I'll play Bailly. I think you need someone physical. You need someone quick. And that's why my argument was I know Jones hadn't been part of a defence that had been absolutely leaking in goals since Ollie's come, and I can see why they're sticking with him. But for me, I would have got Bailly in there to just get his legs going again because that Arsenal game is a big game.
Lukaku came on. I mean, what I was going to say is, and we were all talking about top 4. We've seen what's happened to Spurs with the loss of Kane. I think Ali's injured today. Son's on tour. Sissoko. So they're getting a hit with a lot of injuries, and they don't have a big squad. I think United's top 4 hopes pretty much do hinge on the fact that if we got an injury to Rashford or Pogba, I'd say they're our 2 biggest players at the moment. I thought Martial had really good spurts in the game yesterday. I thought Lingard was very disappointing. Herrera was my man of the match.
Same.
But I think if we lost, Lindelof, Herrera, Pogba, Rashford, one of those, we'd struggle.
Yeah,
they're massively important.
You know what? It's difficult because look, you look at City, they've got like 2 players for every position, but not just 2 players. They've got two like strong players for each position. Could almost have 2 11s. We're not at that stage yet. Like I said, we've got a lot of dead wood, and we need a bit of luck with the injury front, because I tell you what, mate, when Lukaku came on again,
He was shit, wasn't he, again?
terrible, terrible. And it's not even me trying to pick on him or me trying to have a laugh and have a joke. I actually said to the guy, Aaron, you guys been seeing him on the fan cams. I was saying to him, like, I kind of feel sorry for him. Like, he's just offers nothing anymore. Like, and you know what? He's probably looking at it thinking, shit, like, how the hell am I going to get back in this team? The only way he's going to get back in is if Rashford gets injured. And even then, I bet even then, there's a chance that Ollie could just put Lingard there as a false nine and put Sanchez on the right and play Lukaku. Because the way that we want to play, it just don't fit in. He just does not fit the style, man. And unfortunately for him, I think his days are numbered. I really
You know, it's like if Fellaini turned up at Man City tomorrow and said, "I'm here for free," Pep would say, "Piss off." You know, he's just you know, he has got an X factor, like Ollie says. It's called chest control and hoofball magnet. You know, but Pep would be like, "I can't use you. You can sweep the floor, but I can't use you." And I think that's the same with Lukaku, isn't it?
Same thing, exactly. And even that, even the thing that you think would be his strength. So okay, let me try and use you to be big and strong and muscle people off the ball then. Or, no, you don't even do that.
Well, that 20 minutes against Spurs, I know yesterday was bad, but that 20 minutes against Spurs, we're backs to the wall. You bring him on. I was even saying bring him on just to bully Alderweireld and Vertonghen and hold the ball up, and he didn't.
As the price pocket. Trust me, that's all he was, mate. He was in their back pocket like Asda. Because I just don't think he has it anymore. And look, his confidence is super low as well. I get that. But surely he can't be this bad. He's still a professional footballer. Like, he's still got over 100 and whatever goals in the Premier League, 150 goals, whatever he's scored. So he does know where the goal is if you put it on a plate or you create chances for him. Because I was even saying, even with the way we play, maybe it could be good for Lukaku if he gets games. You know, if we get the ball wide and cross and we attack quickly. But seeing him try to slot into it since we have been under Ollie, he hasn't shown me anything to suggest that he's got a future with this manager. And you see what Ollie's tried to do. Fellaini was close to leaving until he got himself injured on purpose. Didn't make any no substitute appearances off the bench. Sometimes not in the squad. McTominay, we ain't seen him. Lukaku bench straight away. You can tell he is trying to go. Nah, you're not Man United way, mate. Mata, very limited appearances. So I just think Ollie is trying to get us to play the Man United way, and he has established the players who don't fit their mould. That's why they've been reduced to bench time. But because he's a nice guy and he doesn't want to upset the apple cart too much, he's not going to come out in press conferences and go, well, the way we go, and he just doesn't fit in. He's going to go, people are chomping at the bit, they want to play. But you can tell by his team selections that what he's thinking is that says it all.
Well, he needs results, doesn't he? Ollie needs results, and to be honest with you, I would not play Lukaku if I wanted results. I'd be like, okay, what's going on here? Because ultimately, I don't really, I think you're right. I think Lukaku is lacking confidence, and he was. What did he say when Mourinho was here? People need to grow their ass up if they've got a problem.
He said, if you've got a problem with the manager, man up, and because
he was the flavour of the month, wasn't he?
Exactly, he's Mourinho's boy, man, and now he's gone. As soon as he got sacked, him, McTominay, flipping what's his face, Fellaini, they all probably thought, shit, and that's how it's turned out.
And I do think with Lukaku as well, it's not like he's not been given minutes. He's been getting good 10, 15, 20 minutes. And he did score a couple of goals, didn't he, when he came on as a sub? And everyone was like, oh, he's going to be pushing Rashford for a spot. Nah. And that's just not materialised. And I think there's almost, I don't know what it is, but I think if you want your place back, you get 20 minutes, you come on, you show the manager that you should have your place back. And he's making it very easy for Rashford at the moment.
Very easy. But even me and Craig were talking about this on the way up, and we had a disagreement because Craig was like, if Rashford goes a couple of games without scoring and Lukaku scores from the bench, then he deserves to start. And I'm saying, nah, I don't think that. That's my opinion. I don't know what you guys think, because what I'm saying is, regardless of how many he scores from the bench, look at Ollie himself. He's proof of that. Like, he was a super sub for the reason. That's your role. That is your role. yeah, he used to start games when there was periods where he was, in very good form. But he's ultimately known as a super sub. Why? Because we knew what we needed to go with from the start of games, and it was perfect bringing someone like him off the bench, and that's how it always went. There's like you said about the Lingard thing at times. You go, squad player is what you say, Mark, innit? And
Mm.
there's no shame in being a very good squad player for Manchester United. No shame in that at all. So for me, Rashford could go 4 games without scoring. He'd still give a lot more than Lukaku would, scoring 2 or 3 off the bench, because Rashford's got that in his locker where even if he's not playing well in terms of scoring, he's going to contribute to the game like Aguero would, or like Kane would, or like any other top striker would. When they're not playing well, they still contribute to the game by movement, by hold-up play, by passing, by assists, by something, by energy, by positive attitude. Do you know what I mean? So even if Rashford wasn't in this purple patch of scoring, I still wouldn't drop him because of the way he plays
I
and
think
how what he gives to the team.
I think that's a great point. I mean, there's a comment I need to pick up on here, but I just want to say that because I was talking about this yesterday, and I was trying to say to people that there was a time at Manchester United where we, it's a long time ago because it's not happened for a while, where we know who our best 11 is. And I think we've fallen into this way in recent years, whereby if Martial has a bad half an hour, he gets dropped for 3 games. If Rashford has a bad game, he's not back in. But actually, look at Liverpool, look at Man City. Well, Liverpool, it's Mane, Salah, it's Firmino. They've had games this season, periods of games, of months. I remember Salah at the start of the season was crap. He didn't get dropped because Klopp's front 3 is Mane, Salah and Firmino. And I think United fans have lost their way with that because of the managers we've had. Our front 3 at the moment, for me, should be Martial, Rashford and Lingard. And maybe Sanchez and get rid of Lingard, but we don't seem to want to play him on the right. But if Martial has a bad game, I don't want to hear, or Rashford has a bad game, or Lingard has a bad game, I don't want to hear, drop him, get Sanchez or Lukaku in. No. We have our best front 3, like we have our best midfield, and if they have a bad game, they still play next week because that's the best team you've got. And I think we don't do that.
That's it. I see someone disagree with me in the comments there saying, I think it's Abs Carter saying, do you seriously hear yourself? Of course, if he's scoring Lukaku, he deserves to start. And I just think, if you think that, then what you're saying is that you think that Lukaku is going to bring more to the game than Rashford over 90 minutes because he scored a couple of goals from the bench when teams are tired or there's more space. That is probably putting Lukaku onto his strengths when people are tired and trying to, give him, then there's more opportunity. But from the start of a game against top opposition, Lukaku's done nothing to suggest that he should be ahead of Rashford. And even if he scored a couple like that tap-in against, obviously he come off the bench and scored pretty much an open goal or a tap-in against Newcastle. And then after that he was crap. You know what I mean? Like against Tottenham, he come off the bench and did nothing. Even if he would have scored a header from a corner, that wouldn't prove that he's better than Rashford. So if you know football, I don't see how you could think that.
No, that is true as well, because I remember saying this about Martial over the last 2 years under Mourinho, because Martial would come on in the last 20 minutes and do quite well. And I'd say, yeah, but I want him to do it from the start because teams are tired in the last 20 minutes and the space is there in the last 20 minutes. Imrano TV says, is there any proof that Fellaini got injured on purpose? No matter what we think of him, we shouldn't question his morals and his professionalism.
No, there's no proof. I'm only joking.
He seems to be injury prone anyway. Obviously there's no proof, but there's a lot of coincidence, and I don't believe in that. But no, he is very injury prone as well. I do agree with that. There was a comment in here from Mark J saying about Fabrizio Romano saying that that Darmian's going to go to Juventus, which has been going on around early evening. That doesn't surprise me. He played very well a couple of weeks ago as a right-sided centre-back and hasn't been in the squad since, despite not being injured. So I think it was pretty obvious he was going to go. He is part. He did play really well the other week, but I do call him the Deadwood FC captain. So I'm not really bothered about him going. I don't know about you and everyone else.
Yeah, do you know what with Darmian though? I know a lot of people say he's not United quality and he's had his criticism over the years, but like under Van Gaal, I thought he was very good as a fullback. And when he came, he's Italian World Cup team. I remember when he played against England, he had Sterling in his pocket in the World Cup, and he is a very good defender. He can defend. Like you don't get into the Italian national team when they were a good side as well. I'm not talking about now. And he is a proper professional. Jose was a lot of things, but he was right about Darmian when he was like he's a top professional. Because anytime you do need Darmian, he is there. He's fit. He don't get a lot of game time, but he doesn't moan. He's not controversial. He just does it like a model professional. And I think he's a bit underrated. I think he could be a bit be a bit better than we've seen if we had the confidence and the backing. Don't get me wrong. I think we can obviously get better. Like, you know, Dalot bombing on forward. I think that's where he lacks, probably just going forward. But defensively, he is sound and reliable. You know, would I rather him than Phil Jones as a centre half for a few games?
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
probably. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I definitely.
I think he's good.
I think Darmian. I said this when we signed him because I follow Serie A, and there's hardly any Italian defenders that have come to the Premier League and done very well. So, and I think he'd be another one where, you know, it probably hasn't fulfilled what we wanted him to do. But I wish him all the best. He's not been terrible, but it's that ruthlessness, isn't it? He is part of the Deadwood FC at United, and he has got to go. So, and it's a space gone, which I think is always a positive thing.
It's the same with Blint, though. I thought Blint was fantastically technically. You missed the Jones. I wouldn't even have got rid of Blint, if I'm honest.
No, I think I would have kept him over Jones. Yeah. He was always really steady. In fact, when we won the Europa League, he came in and was absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Phil Jones is like a cockroach. He'd survive a nuclear war. He really would. There was a comment in there that I wanted to come back to. Oh, somebody was just saying that Arsenal Fan TV have been running their mouth off. I don't know what that's all about, but the reality is I'm very excited about this game this week. I've heard a few people saying, "Oh, let's play Greenwood, Mata." In my mind, we're going to play our best 11. But some people seem to think we might not. I think go best 11.
I think definitely go for best 11, especially because look, we're out of the Premier League race from ages ago, and I think the cup competitions is, you know, against PSG, it's kind of like a free hit. They're expected to beat us. You look at the players that they have at their disposal, I think. But I think the FA Cup is something that Ollie will definitely respect and definitely go for it. And look at the run we're on. We're on 7 on the bounce. Don't get me wrong. If you ask me to pick, would I rather win this one or the one in the league against Arsenal? I'll pick the one in the league. But, you know, we've got to go there and play our starting 11 that we've been playing, as long as they're all fit. And go for it. Go for the throat, man. That'd be a really interesting game. There's a lot of people sort of saying, like, we'll definitely beat Arsenal. Arsenal shit, be easier game. No, it won't. It won't be an easy game. It'll be another big test, like how the Tottenham game is. I know in the table they're below Tottenham, but on any given day, you see Arsenal's front line. They can cause you problems at any given time. So I think we'll win the game. I do, 2-1. But you know, if we don't go there with the right attitude and the right mentality, and we have a little blip, because there's going to be a banana skin. There's going to be a game where we might not show up, or, you know, have to ride our luck, like second half against Tottenham. So, you know, there's every chance that it's going to be a tight, tough game. I don't see this whole we'll blow Arsenal easy. You know, I don't think that.
I think it's got. I think if we play the way we play and they played the way they did yesterday, I think it could be an absolute cracker on Friday night. Exactly. I'm really excited about it.
No one expected to perform like that, did they? Straight away, look how they've been shit recently, Arsenal, and then they just turned it on at home against Chelsea. Like you said, first 20 minutes. So, you know, that's Arsenal, isn't it? You just don't know what else you're going to get. But they've lost Bellerin now for the season, I think, haven't they? So that's a big miss for them as well.
They'll be good. They'll be up for it. They'll definitely play well, and we'll have to be switched on. Rakesh Khanna has made a contribution. He says Lukaku would suit Chelsea more than United. I'd drive him to Chelsea, to be honest, if they gave us some money for it. Austin Kelly says, keep the faith, we'll be third by the end of February. I hope so, mate. Liam Thorpe says, how can Ollie earn a shelf in your green screen? I have to speak to Geordie about that. Yeah. We've done that one. We've done that one. Glory. Jeff Hepner says, glory. Love you, Mark. Can we really get top 4? I think we've discussed that. I think we definitely can, Jeff. It's, you know, the position we've put ourselves in the last month is nothing short of extraordinary. Andreas Hansen says, if we don't get any players this window and start losing some games, it can't be Ollie's fault. He does the best he can with the squad he has now. I think that's spot on. Yep. Die easy guy says Mike Phelan is the most important one to retain. I want to come back to that, actually. Mike Phelan's, you know, you see it in the ground. We see a bit of it on the TV. His movement around the touchline, he is. I said this yesterday. I think Ollie's done a fantastic job, but I think if he didn't have Mike Phelan,
100%,
we wouldn't be doing what we're doing.
The most underrated part of what we're doing, even when the news was first announced, I think me and you were saying it in videos, certainly me and Rance, that it's actually the Mike Phelan appointment that is really the key in this, because he was there before Ollie, long before Ollie, and you know, with Sir Alex experienced all the good times, and even more so than Ollie knows the ethos and and that other club, even from a coaching point of view at the highest level with these type of players, been there, done it, and to get him back up, back involved, I think is probably the most underrated move out of everything that happened. Ollie will take the limelight, and rightly so. He's the manager, he's the caretaker manager, doing the press conferences week in, week out, and he's been fantastic. Love him to bits. But the Mike Phelan appointment is really where it's kind of like that appointment is as close to having Sir Alex Ferguson in the dressing room without actually having him there. That's what that is.
And Sir Alex Ferguson's obviously down at training, which I think is, you've got the ultimate guru there, haven't you?
Exactly.
Imrano TV says, thanks for the contribution, pal. He says, so happy that top four is now in Aaron hands, and I think that's very, very true. Do you think that Sarri will be sorry, pun unintended, about his rant? It might have a negative effect on his team like Rafa's fact rant. I'll be honest, I've been out today. It was my son's christening, so I've not really... I saw a bit of the football, but... This Sarri rant, did he throw his players under the bus? Do you know anything about it, Flex?
No, I didn't watch his comments, but I read what he said. He was kind of just saying like that the Arsenal players were up for it more. He couldn't really compare the game tactically because there was one team that really wanted it and one team that didn't. It's hard to motivate my players, etc., etc. And I was having a bit of banter with some Chelsea fans that I know. I was saying, is this Jose part 3 throwing the players under the bus and that? But the Chelsea fan I was talking to was actually saying no, but the players deserved it because that is what it looked like. Obviously, we were editing videos and uploading and stuff, so I didn't watch all of that Arsenal match. I only saw what I saw a match of the day. But apparently, for large parts of it, Arsenal were just first to everything, wanted it more than them. And Sarri just basically, I think it's his way of trying to get a reaction rather than throwing them under the bus. I don't know. We'll have to see because he probably just wants them to bounce back because, you look when they got spanked by Tottenham earlier in the league.
It was a similar performance, to be fair.
Similar performance. So I think for him, that's what pissed him off because he spoke about them saying that they spoke about that game before the Arsenal game to try and obviously make sure that didn't happen again, and it did. So I think he's just trying to challenge his players to rise, basically.
I tell you what, I mean, the comment from Imrano was absolutely spot on as well. I mean, we are pretty much a month after Ollie came in now, and we shouldn't underestimate. I hope we can keep the results going in January, just so Ollie gets Manager of the Month, because he's he's done half a good December and half a good January so far, and it'd be typical that we. If we beat Arsenal, we'll definitely beat Burnley, and he'll get Manager of the Month. But he deserves that because we are still sixth, but we're in a very different sixth place, aren't we? It is in our hands now, which is it's an amazing turnaround. And I don't know what your thoughts are, but a lot of people, we've had a lot of pundits coming out saying, it's not surprised me what he's done. I could have done that, and I just think it's hilarious because he has done something miraculous. I think in a month.
Do you know what he has? Don't get me wrong. There is a certain element of like things were that bad that there was an element of like me and you could have been assistant and manager and said to the players like, come on Martial, man, you're Martial, you're Pogba.
But you've still got to have a personality to speak to 20 different personalities and get them all on board.
And that's what I was going to say. But you can't take that away from him because he's got the same crop of players there and that were losing and drawing games against these teams that were put into bed. And, the way he conducts himself, the decisions he's making, the way, the things he's saying, not anyone can do that. Only someone who knows the club inside out can do that. And he's doing it. And like I said, you don't win 7 games on the bounce in the Premier League if you ain't got a little bit about you. It's not luck. It's not luck, especially from where we were. You don't go on a run like what we're on when you look at how we were before. So sporadic, so, unpredictable. You don't just go from that to a level of consistency and only conceding 5 goals in 7 games and scoring nearly 20. You don't just do that just because of luck or because it was that bad that anyone could do it. I don't buy that. There is a little bit of an element of it, but not. He's got to get the plaudits. And like I said, the feeling thing as well, man. It's not just Ollie.
There's a really interesting thing coming out about Darmian now, that Manchester United have extended Matteo Darmian's contract amid interest from Juventus. I don't know whether this is true or not, but... It's not
an official thing from them?
No, I'm just reading it on Twitter, and there's a few people in the live comments saying it, but...
maybe they'll go on loan and then extend his contract so they can sell him, innit?
I don't know.
Which is weird.
I don't know. Oh, fuck. You know what? That would be the sort of shit decision that we just don't seem to be able to manoeuvre our way away from. I mean, extending Matteo Darmian's contract. Oh, fucking hell. I mean, that would just be one step forward, 2 steps back again.
Yeah, but I'll take that if they got rid of Jones.
I don't know.
I'd have him as backup, just utility man.
Simon Monaghan says, I'm new to the United stand, loving it, so keep up the good work. Cheers, pal. A lot of people saying it's been a good show tonight, so thanks for all that. What I was going to say as well is just on the personality thing, something Mourinho did talk about. I did hear him talking about Drogba, and he was obviously having a talk about Pogba, because he was like, Drogba's a real man. You know, you tell him to go and do stuff and he does it. You know, I just think, that epitomises again the job that Ollie's done, because Mourinho just could not manage the modern sort of football club, could he? With the different personalities, he just couldn't get his head around it. And Ollie, all right, he's not done fantastic at Cardiff, but he certainly grasps his people skills, it's people management, and that's what life is a lot of the time.
100%. You can do the over analysis, the philosophy, I've won free this, I've won this, I've won that, and all this. If you don't move with football, you don't move with the times, you don't move with the tactics, you don't move with the day and age and the players, you get left behind. It's as simple as that. Doesn't matter what you've won, doesn't matter about your CV, doesn't matter about your pedigree. Yeah, there's too much proof in the pudding. If you don't move with the times, even in life, you get left behind, man. Even people who don't move with the times and might not like technology and live in the past and don't move with things, you get left behind even as a human being, let alone as a football manager. Where it's constantly changing and it's constantly moving on and evolving. That's just basic rules of life. And Jose can say what he wants, man. The reason he lost his job is not because of Paul Pogba's ego. It's not because of the board only. He lost his job because he showed that he's no longer a good coach anymore, in my opinion. I don't know what everyone else thinks.
Just on the Darmian thing, it's just occurred to me, and I've seen a couple of people talking about it, and they're absolutely right. We actually can extend Darmian's contract by a year. We've got one of those year things, so I think we've just done that to extend it, because obviously gives us a better price if Juventus want to.
That's smart business. There you go. Big up the Glazers. There you go. See,
makes sense. If it's about the money, it's about the money. I'm just going to leave you with a difficult one. Juan Mata. 31 in April. I found the substitution of Mata, as much as I love him, ridiculous yesterday. I think it was the one big mistake that Ollie made. 70 minutes gone. You take Lingard off. You bring slow Mata on. We're going to park the bus. And again, I think Mata's had some bad performances this year. Do you think it's? I love Mata. I mean, it's only this week he's been and seen a lad whose dad died, a 12-year-old training, spends an hour with him. You've met him. He's a top bloke, but is it time for Mata to go, or would you keep him?
Surplus, mate. Surplus to requirements. The way we want to play doesn't fit in. Mata, I think, at this stage of his career, needs to be in a 10 position, just off the front, or in a midfield 3, but an attacking midfielder. Not going to get in our team there, as much as it pains me to say. Fantastic guy. Look, he's absolutely brilliant. Even the stuff he's doing with the Common Goal Initiative, he puts 1% of his wages in. He's got a lot of other professionals to follow suit. We covered that just shortly after I joined United Stand, and it was great to meet him. Like you said, he went to see that young lad in training. His dad died. Look, Matt, I could go on all about off the field stuff with Matt. He's always the last person on the bus because he's signing autographs. He's a fantastic guy off the pitch, but unfortunately, people like to say with the Pogba thing, no player's bigger than the club. So if we're applying that, if you're not performing and the team's kind of moved on, we shouldn't just keep Mata because he's fantastic off the pitch and great with the fans. Unfortunately, that doesn't win football matches. Fantastic servant and a great guy. But I think with the way, just how the Lukaku thing, obviously he's not as bad as Lukaku, but he's still a very clever footballer and still has a lot to offer some team. Unfortunately, it's just not us. With the way that we want to play, he just doesn't fit. He just doesn't fit, man. And like you said, when he did make that substitution, I did think I would have given Sanchez 15, 20 minutes. He said he's been training all week. I think that would have been the perfect. He's going to give you the width and he's going to give you the energy. At least, maybe not the width because even Sanchez comes in a lot of the time. But you could have put
Pereira on because Pereira's more mobile and he's bigger and he's more physical in the tackle. But
so there were options there. So I didn't agree with that from Ollie. That was a kind of a sign that like, oh, well, we're not really going to be able to keep going at Brighton here. But in terms of what you're actually asking, I think he's surplus to requirements. And not only that, I think, like you said, 31, and he's still a very good player. And he can offer another team a lot, and I think he
might want first team football, which he ain't going to get.
I think he should. He's got probably 3 years left, maybe. Why not? I could go back to Spain and probably play for Valencia again or something like that.
Be a number 10,
Yeah,
I mean, There was a comment there, I missed it, I can't remember, I think it was St. Colombo said, Mata was a mistake the minute we bought him. And I think, in some ways, I understand what you're on about because we've never played him where he should have done.
Yeah.
Robert McCormack says he bought Mata on to keep the ball, was an obvious substitution, hence why all 5 pundits in the studio had agreed with it. That sort of comment's not going to wash here, mate. Do you think I really give a shit what pundits think? With their scripted piece of paper? Oh, I used to play the game, so I know better than fans. The substitution was a bad substitution. It didn't work. Maybe he was brought on to keep the ball, but the reality is their left back was bombing forward. Mata is slow. So it was a bad substitution. You can think it was a good one. It was a bad one. I said it at the time, and it was proved to be a bad one. But Ollie, I quite like that it was a bad substitution because we want him to make mistakes as much as we want him to make brilliant things like he has done. We need to see the good and the bad because then we can make a good decision in May. And it might be that we do go with Pochettino, like Rooney says. It might be that we do pull Zidane in. Or it might be that we stick with Ollie, but we need to know the full Ollie, don't we, Flex? Really, we need to. 100%. We can't just hide behind. I don't want us to scam every result. Luckily, I want us to have I want to go to Arsenal next week and then bombard us and see what we got. I want to go to PSG and Mbappe and Neymar and Verratti to be fit and go at us. I want Liverpool and City to come to Old Trafford at their best because that's when we're going to figure out what we're about and whether he can be our manager. Yeah, I agree, and that is why I'm saying the jury's still out. There's a lot of Man United fans because it is feeling so good right now. And I'm not, listen, you've seen me jumping up and down in fan cams and singing, and it's brilliant. It's a great feel-good factor. And I will always do that after a positive result. But when the dust has settled, you still have to look at things in their entirety. And there's still a long way to go. Like I said, I do not want Ollie to fail. I do not want us to go on a run of losing games and slipping up. But the chance, not the likeliness, there is a chance that we could. We still got a lot of big tests to come. And like I said, that March is a big test, and if we come out of that looking positive, then I think he strengthens his case to get the job on a full-time basis. But I think until then, you look at our 7 games. I know I don't like saying it because it's something that a rival fan would say, but the only hard game in that is Tottenham. So we need to see Arsenal away next, tough game. Then we're going into a few very winnable away games and a home game against Burnley mixed in there as well. But then after that, like I said, March, you look at PSG, we've got City at home, we've got Liverpool at home, Chelsea still to come. Like I said, these are the games where we're going to have to judge him and find out what the real Ollie is. And hopefully he passes them tests with flying colours. I don't want the guy to fail. We're doing amazing right now. February and March I'm almost thinking about doing a video on February the 1st and saying, wow, what a month, because it is absolutely exciting. Yeah. But we've got key games before that. Sai Charan says it's good to have a player of Mata quality on the bench. There's a lot of people who would keep him. It's all about opinion. Remember, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, it's the Discord show, so you can call in and have your say. You can pick up on things that we've spoken about tonight, and please do drop a like on the video. But what I would say is, and Nicholas P says it's not just Ollie, it's Team Ollie, Mike and the others. We risk losing with a new manager. It read my mind there because I was going to say this to you, Flex, that I said it yesterday as well. The thing that's getting me more and more in the Ollie camp is that it's not just Ollie. It's the fact that we've got a manager who is a Manchester United fan, which is very rare in football. So we've got a manager who, when we lose, they don't just lose as a manager, they lose as a fan. We've got people like Mike Phelan, who's been involved with the club for a long time. You've got Carrick and McKenna, who we're starting to see the best of them. Sir Alex Ferguson's actively involved. We've got an identity. We've got our club back. And if you bring Pochettino and Zidane in, they might be very, very successful, but they'll never have that link to our club, and they'll probably bring their own people in. And I'm just loving at the moment the fact that, we're doing really well on the pitch, but behind the scenes, we've got this whole United ethos again. Such a good point. I do love it. I love it. And that's why 3 weeks ago I was like, I think I probably would prefer Zidane. Whereas now I'm like, we're living it, we're witnessing it. It's like, I like this. I want my club to be this.
Yeah, it's so funny how things change, because before Jose even got sacked, it was Zidane's there, he's available. Let's just sack Jose and get Zidane straight away.
Yeah, no one thought about this, did they?
No one thought about this. And even when Ollie was announced, I hold my hands up. I was like, oh, it didn't go to Carrick. Oh, Ollie. Oh, that's a bit. Oh, Solskjaer. I was like, oh, okay, that's a bit weird, but it's a stopgap, and then we'll get Pochettino. That's what I said straight away. I'm not gonna lie, I did. I would tell the truth. And then the first game, it weren't until the first press conference I watched of him, and I actually went, wow. I said, wow, that feels like a proper Man United manager there. Like, but anyway, let me see what happens in the game. And the way we played, and then his comments after the game, and then the second game at home against Bournemouth, was it, or Huddersfield? I can't remember. And then just again the way we played, and then I was like, hang on a minute, I have to be honest here. This feels right. And then now we're 7 games in, and like you said, I feel like even if we lost the next game heavily, I still feel like we're losing as a team, and Ollie feels that pain just as much as we do. And I feel like he would do everything within his power to get the reaction out of the players so that we don't have to experience a loss like that again or something like that. He wouldn't go, do you know who I am? I'm Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I scored a goal in May '99, and I did. He wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? He would endear himself to the fans. He'd feel the pain. So, yeah, I get what you're saying there. It feels good. You want it to continue, and you kind of want the love story to happen. But like I said, he can't get the job on the love story. No, he can't get the job on the sentiment, man. He has to get this job on merit. If he gets it on merit, I will have absolutely no problems with Ollie being the manager, because he's earned it. He's earned it. You can't just be given it because you're a club legend. You've got to earn it. And 7 out of 7 so far, and a strong end to the season, like a top 4 and a cup. You have to give him it. You have to, I think, if he does that.
Nicholas P says that Rance made a point that stuck with me. Could the plan had been that Ollie all along, the interim thing was just not to scare the fans?
Yeah, he said that in the flexible.
I don't think that, because I think that's a bad business decision. I think, you don't. The interim thing's brilliant because it's almost like a loan, isn't it? And it's like, if it works, you keep him. If it goes terribly wrong, you don't. I think I'd go as far as to say if he does really well, they'll definitely keep him. But I think they've got that safety barrier of, if it goes really bad, they don't have to. And Flex is spot on, really. It's like, we can't just give it him on sentiment. But at the moment, he's excelling what anybody would have thought. And you can have a manager who's not part of the United history, who, Sir Alex Ferguson was from Aberdeen. He had nothing to do with us, and he ended up like that. And to be fair, Klopp's the same with Liverpool. He's not a Liverpool player, is he? But he loves that club. But my point is, Pochettino's never going to be Sir Alex Ferguson relationship with United, because he's had 2 other clubs in the Premier League. Zidane's never going to have that relationship with United, because he's going to go somewhere else in 3 years. So I do think that if we want our club back, the best hope is Ollie. But I tell you what, he's got to jump some bigger hurdles in February before we can even start having that chat.
Exactly, and that's it, man. You still got to go game by game. Yeah. There is still time for it to go horribly wrong, which I hope it doesn't. But there is.
We're going to lose at some point, 100%. We are, and then the reaction to everyone's going to have to that is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think with the way he's playing, or the way he's showing that he wants us to play, regardless of whether we're losing or drawing or finding it difficult, I think that when we do lose, I think the fans will still be behind him. I heard fans even saying behind me yesterday, we don't mind losing. This is great. If we lose 4-3, we lose the game 2-1, 3-2, we've had a go. And that, because under Sir Alex, we didn't care if we lost. Not just because we had more wins and losses and we used to win stuff, but because he used to play the way that we wanted to see, more importantly. And that's the same with Ollie. If you play in positive football and you lose a game, you lose a game. You're not going to win every game. You're not. So I get that. I think he's already managed to get the fans on side to the point where if we do lose against Arsenal, no one's going to turn on him. No one's going to go, oh, it's the same shit. Oh, it's the...
because we've still got the league to go for, haven't we? We're still level with them. They're not going to get any more points than us.
And you know what? Do you know what an interesting point is, Mark? I know we'll come to the end of the show, but I just want to put this out there. Even if he doesn't get us top 4 because we were just short and we slipped up once, there is a high chance he could still do enough to get this job if we play the right way. And even clawing back that gap already, if we can stay in touch and then we just missed it and we finished fifth by one game, but you could clearly see the direction, there's going to be loads of fans, maybe even me included, going, well, look what we did without the investment. Let's give Ollie the money in the summer. We were only 3 points off fourth when our season was pretty much written off by Christmas before we made the change from Jose. And look what he achieved. What could he achieve with a whole summer preparation with outgoings and incomings and backing this guy? Because look how we've been playing. So there is still a case where if we fall short of the top four by 2 games because we lost 2 games, 3 or 6 points, he could still get the job.
It's a great point because Jurgen Klopp took over Liverpool in, I think, October. And that's 2 months before Ollie took over United. And I think he still finished 8th. So, but the Liverpool fans were happy because he was building something. Well, Ollie's got us in a fight for 4th in a month. And if we just miss out, should the barrier be top 4?
And that's the question. Is it really fair? Because really, let's face it, before Ollie came in, we all went, sod this, mate. Best we can do is 7th. Best we can do is 6th.
Yeah.
Now, I know because we're playing attacking football and the results have obviously gone our way whilst we've been winning, that gap's been cut to only 3 points now. But sometimes you have to think to where you were to where you are.
Well, it was mission impossible, wasn't it?
Exactly. So
now it is possible.
Should we really expect him to do it? The benchmark should be that because we're so close to it and we're Man United. So on what he's bringing back to us, which is our tradition, our morals, our philosophy, we go for it. We want to win every game. So that will result hopefully in being in the top 4. But to judge him on that and say he can only get the job if he gets us top 4, I think that's a bit harsh.
Brilliant show, really enjoyed it. AN says, will you finish it? Because SAS is on in a minute. I don't know what that is. I'm going to go and watch something a little bit more cultural. I'm going to watch Les Miserables on BBC One. But okay. I'm a bit of a culture vulture.
Ozark.
Yeah, Flex is on Ozark. I've done that season 1 and 2. It's very good on Netflix.
Yeah.
As long as no one's watching Bird Box, we can all sleep easy. But shower shite. But thanks for coming on, pal. We've got a busy week ahead. I know you're going to be doing Flex and Rants, but we've got some Arsenal stuff to do as well. It's going to be a busy week.
Yeah, very, very busy week. A lot of previews coming up. I know everyone enjoyed the one that we did with Troops as well. Me and you got some stuff to do with Robbie as well. And it's going to be loads going on, man. Loads going on in the build up to that game. Some combined 11s and stuff like that. So yeah, busy week.
It's a big game. I'm really excited about it. I know Friday night's a bit shit, but I am very excited about that game. I think it's going to be a cracker, and it's nice that it's not a league game in a way because we can just go for it and see what happens. Yeah. Thanks for all the love in the live comments. Thanks, Paul. Really, really enjoyed the show tonight. And smash a like on the video. Tomorrow night's your show. Transfer Daily's back in the morning at 7 a.m. for something to get up with a smile on a Monday morning. Hit the week hard. And I'll speak to you all later. Thanks for coming on, Flex. Shout out your Twitter, mate.
Yes, it's been going across the bottom there, I can see, but FlexUTD on Twitter and Instagram, trying to get Instagram up, guys, trying to interact with you guys and do lots more Instagram stuff. So FlexUTD across all the platforms.
I should shout my Instagram out, actually. I don't interact. I just put pictures of me doing stupid things.
You only follow United Stan. Can you follow me, please?
See, I don't know how Instagram works, so I think I'm called @MarkGoldbridge or @GoldbridgeMark. But I do put pictures up. I just don't interact or follow anyone, so I'll have to start doing that. Anyway, we'll speak to you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and good night. Good show, that.
Really good show.